Hey there, it's Paul Bright here, founder of the beginnerguitaristacademy.com. In this video, I'm going to teach you the exact same system I use when learning a new song, riff, lick, or solo on the guitar. It's a very simple step-by-step system, and I'm going to reveal to you how to do it in this video. So if there's a song that you've always dreamt of being able to play on the guitar, or there's a riff like Smoke on the Water, or a song like Brown Eyed Girl, or whatever it may be that you want to learn, this video is going to be really helpful for you. So I encourage you to watch all the way through the end, and we'll go through the step-by-step system together. Now, in this video, the format, what I'm going to do is give you firstly an overview of the steps themselves so you know exactly what they are. I'll then share with you a resource that's going to make these steps much easier for you, and then give you an example and a walkthrough of how I would learn Sweet Child O' Mine by Guns N' Roses, a great sounding lick or riff that you may even want to learn yourself, or that you may even already know. So I'm going to show you how I would apply my system on this video on camera, so you can follow along with me too. So let's just get straight into it. So there's actually 6 steps in my system when learning a new song, riff, lick, or solo on the guitar. And the first step may seem like a nice simple one, and that's to actually pick the song firstly that you would like to learn how to play on the guitar. So whether it's a song, riff, lick, or solo, you need to know what it is you want to play. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to break that song, that riff, that lick, or solo into bite-sized chunks. So we want to break it down, this big solo, this riff, whatever it may be, into a small bite-sized chunks. I recommend generally breaking it down into learning it bar by bar. So bringing it into really small bite-sized chunks. You may have heard this saying before that what's the best way to eat an elephant, and it's one bite at a time. And that's what we're doing by breaking it into small bite chunks, making it manageable and easy to do. So that's our next step. Our third step is to actually play the first chunk or the first bar, whatever it may be, at 25 to 50% of the original tempo. So we're really slowing things down. Speed is really a byproduct of accuracy. So when learning, you want to make things nice and slow, really easy to do. You don't want to get overwhelmed learning it at 100% of the tempo, because sometimes it can be almost impossible. Slow it right down, and you'll learn that first part. Then we move on to our next step, which is to simply repeat step number 3 with the next chunk. So we've learned our first bar at 25 to 50%. Once we can do that, we can play that comfortably, no mistakes. We then learn our next bar or our next chunk. Then what we do is we simply keep repeating those steps until we really putting the chunks together, which is step number 5. So step 5, putting the chunks together until we form some sort of section. I recommend putting them into bars of, so maybe 4 bars, 8 bars, or even 12 bars. So, compiling or putting together 4 bars to form a section. And then what you want to do is learn that section and play that section all the way through, which then you move on to the final step, which is step number 6, to gradually increase the speed in small bits until you reach the original tempo of the song, the riff, the lick, or the solo. And this can take a matter of hours, days, weeks, even months, maybe even years, depending on what it is you want to learn. And you're just simply starting slow and you're going up from there, and then you would simply repeat the whole steps with the next, either another song or the rest of that song, riff, lick, or solo that you want to learn. Now, a resource that's going to make this much easier is a place called Songster.com, SONGSTERR.com. I'm going to jump on my computer in a second. We'll go through how to do that and how to use Songster to make this process easier, which is probably easiest to do it right now. I'm going to bring up the computer. So I've got my computer down here. We'll bring that up on the screen, and this is Songster.com, SONGSTERR. Now, as an example, we're going to learn Sweet Child O' Mine by Guns N' Roses. So that's going to be our example. So I'm going to click on this, but you can certainly have a look through, and maybe you want to learn a different song or something on here, and that's totally fine too. But the good thing with Sweet Child O' Mine is Songster actually has a plus version for about $10 a month, which gives you a few extra features like slowing it down. So if you want to upgrade, you can certainly do that, but and they'll have tips on ways to do that. But I'm just going to hit solo here, so we only hear the guitar, because we've got the drums, the bass, and the vocals as well, but I just want to hear the drums, the guitar. Now let's play it at 100%. So if we go to speed here, you can see that's 1, or at normal tempo. So let's play it and listen to it. So, you know, really quite fast, this song, so it'd be very hard to play at 100% of the tempo straight away, especially when just getting started, you know, because, you know, you're using all 4 fingers, it's, you know, quite high up the guitar neck, and, you know, it would be quite hard. So what we want to do is slow it down. So, I guess, you know, what we want to do is break it into bite-sized chunks, which was step number 2. So we've got our first bar, our second bar here, our third bar, fourth bar, fifth bar, sixth bar, etc. So going to break it into bite-sized chunks of 1 bar. So we're going to learn our first bar, and if I click here, I can select how, you know, I basically can get it to loop or repeat. So I can get it to play just the first bar like that over and over. But what we want to do is slow it right down. I recommend 25 to 50%, but we'll go down to 25. We've got 50% here, so just nice and slow. And you can hear that's quite slow. Now what we want to do is play along with it at a slower tempo. Now we simply just keep doing that until we can actually play it properly and like that without making any mistakes. So I could play that fine. So what we do is move on to our next chunk. So the third bar is exactly the second bar is exactly the same as first. So we'll move on to our third bar, exactly the same thing except for the first note. So you can see that we can play that, so we'd move on to our next chunk, which the fourth bar is exactly the same as the third, so it would be the fifth bar here, which I just went up. There we go, fifth bar. So you simply keep, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going, you know, bit by bit, learning each bar at this really slow tempo. And this, you know, I've learned this before, so I can do it straight away, but this may take, you know, this may take a few days even just to learn the first couple of bars. But, you know, you do want to, you know, practice, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, because repetition and consistency over, you know, a period of time does make it a lot easier. So what we've done that is we've learned a section now. So we've maybe got our first 8 bars that we want to learn. What we would do is play the whole lot at that slow tempo. So we're playing this last section at the slow tempo. So for I have it on repeat, so let's take it off repeat and we'll do that again. That's better. So you can see I'm just doing that, but at the slow tempo. And once I can do the whole section of maybe 4 bars, 8 bars, or 12 bars, or whatever the section, you know, I've decided to do, I then will go and increase the speed slightly. So I'm going to jump it up to 50%. So we've gone from 25, I'm going to double it to 50, which you'll notice will be quite faster. So you can see that I can play that comfortably at 50%. So I'm just simply, I would do that again for the chunk, which is for 8 bars, which was, you know, it's a bit of a gut feel, you just pick. So in this case, I've decided to chunk, you know, 8 bars together to make my section. So I can, now I'm playing that at 50%. So I'd want to get that and play that perfectly with no mistakes at that tempo and before I would move on. And again, this could take days, weeks, months, or whatever it may be until you get it perfect, but hopefully not too long, nice and quick. Is what we always like. But don't get too frustrated if you find straight away you can't do it. You may find that you know, you play it a few days and then all of a sudden it clicks. It's just kind of one of those things with the guitar where it does that. Now what I'm going to do is I would probably bump it up just to the next notch, but I'm going to jump up straight up to 100%, but you would want to do it in smaller increments. can see that I'm playing at that original tempo. And it's actually really quite weird to go from like 25 then to 50 then straight up to 100, because you feel like playing it slower like you're doing it there, but you would then play that a few times and get it done at 100%. You don't need to go faster, you can if you want, but most times you'll be happy at the 100% tempo. So that's the system. So you're picking a song, a lick, a riff, a solo, whatever it is you want to learn, you're just breaking it down into bite-sized chunks of, I recommend, just breaking into, learning it bar by bar. And a program like Songster, it's a free thing other than the Plus version, which will allow you to slow it down. But you can do it without slowing it down just by looking at it and playing it slowly or using tabs. So you're putting it into chunks. You're learning the first chunk at a really slow tempo, maybe 25 to 50% of the original tempo. Then you do that. Once you can play that, you move on and learn the next chunk. You keep doing that until you learn a section of maybe 4 bars, 8 bars, 12 bars, but really no more than that, maybe 16. You're just trying to keep it in a fairly manageable, that kind of section. Then what you do is you try and play the whole lot through at 25 to 50% of the tempo, whatever you selected. Once you can do that, then you increase the tempo by in small increments, and you could use like Songster to help you do that. You can do it in chunks, play it all the way through. Once you can do that, again, this may take days, weeks, whatever it may take to be able to do that. You keep increasing it. You simply repeat the system or the process of learning that section, increasing the tempo, then you can play it and increase the tempo. And you do that until you reach the original tempo, like we did here with Sweet Child O' Mine. So that's the system, fairly simple. You just do that. What I want you to do from here is to think of a song, a riff, a lick, or a solo you would like to be able to learn how to play on the guitar right now. So maybe go to songs to look at some of the songs and pick one. Maybe it is Sweet Child O' Mine, and you can follow exactly what I did here on the guitar. So pick that song. So think of a song, a riff, a lick, or a solo you would like to learn, write it down, and then go to Songster, .com and use my system, break it down into small bite-sized chunks, and do that, and just do exactly what I've taught on this video and implement it. So that's the best thing to do, is think of a song and implement the system right now, because it's going to help you with the guitar, and you'll be able to learn that song, that riff, that lick, that solo on the guitar, and it's going to be much more easier for you and not so overwhelming. So hopefully you've liked this video. I'm going to include some resources. I'll include the steps and some additional resources you can check out. So click those links because they'll really help you out on the guitar. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to send me your success stories. I love hearing them, so feel free to send them through. Love to hear how you go. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. But click the links below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll speak to you soon. Happy strumming.